just think it's the best time period to ever be born, because we have an ability where you can sit here with your phone and have Shopify and be able to sell products that are in exactly alignment with your vision to a community off your phone. Where 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you were pigeonholed into having to work a corporate job and a black sheep for being an entrepreneur. It's just the best time period ever to truly monetize your passion and turn it into something that you want to be focused on.
Dude, I think, oh man, I feel like you're speaking to a version of me like 2-3 years ago where there are all these fears or just doubts around kind of what's actually possible when you go all in on something. And I think when you're starting something, you're starting out on this path when you don't really know what it is that you're going to be working on, but you know, like, what I'm working on now is just not fulfilling me. There's not any part of me that's getting that feeling that I'm contributing towards something bigger than myself. I know this isn't what God put me on this earth to do. I need to find something else to do that's going to really pull out my gifts and allow me to do the things that I really believe are like in line with who I am and what I want to put out there. And I think once you start making a W-2, I've heard, what's his name on Shark Tank? Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful talks about it. He's like, W-2 paycheck is like the worst drug on the planet. It will keep you just nice and cozy, so you never take that risk. But I feel like what you were talking about, and when you were saying that, I was just thinking about, 2-3 years ago, these just fears that kind of kept me from going after the things that I felt like I could truly pursue. And I think going into 2025, my message to people is that those fears are all just a product of the world impacting you. And I think once you start making changes and once you start making the decisions to choose to live a different way, you'll realize that those fears are just nothing. They're really, on the other side of fear, it's really something that was just an illusion in your head. And I think the more and more that you dig into overcoming those fears, you really start to become the person that God designed you to be. You get called into a higher level of who you are, the skills and talents that you've been given. And I don't think that there's a better pursuit on the planet than overcoming fears, identifying them, overcoming them, and then allowing faith to fill the gap and knowing that there is something out there for you that will give you provision and allow you to feed your family and do the things that you want to do. It might take some time, but you being trapped by fear is going to always, it's always going to steer you in the wrong direction, in my opinion.
Amen. Amen. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, we're about to enter into 4 years of, a Trump economy that, it's going to be highly favored. If you're listening to this, you're of age where you can be doing something incredible, no matter how young or old you are. If you're listening to this, you have some type of money-making monetization capacity. Don't let those 4 years pass. Like what a gift for you to be able to live in this exact period where we were on the precipice of not understanding what the future trajectory of this country was going to look like from a freedom perspective. And like the country swung the pendulum in a massive direction, pro-liberty and pro-local artisan and pro-bringing back, democracy and all of these principles of what ultimately has made this country amazing.
Totally.
And we're going to see a swing in a way that I think we've never seen a swing like this before. And so I think what you and I have been reminding ourselves is, we're both early 30s. Like let's really maximize the next 4 years together, because what a gift we've been given, and what a shame it would be for the 4 years to pass without us doing anything substantial with that gift.
Yeah, I think that two things came to mind. Is like, do not let fear trap you. Do not let fear be the thing that stops you from doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then also realize that, time is just like, think about the end, like 30 for us, like 30, 40 years from now is really not that far away. And all the things that we want to accomplish and do and experience over that time period are really they need to, we need to start orienting ourselves around those things that we want today, if we want them. If you want an amazing family, if you want a large family, kids, a business, like I think really orienting your actions around that stuff today, like do it, make it a priority to just live the life that you want in the future now. Like just, I know there will probably be collateral for you making decisions that, might feel risky, and you might put yourself in tough situations. I think it's 100% worth it. I think putting yourself in tough situations is where you grow, So I just get excited thinking about the person sitting on the other side of this going into 2025 who's thinking, I got more to give. I have more to give. I haven't been doing that. And I want to see a different side of myself, because like I know the new year stuff is kind of always cliche, new year, new me. I enter every new year with just that feeling of freshness. I think you probably feel the same way. It's like, let's go. We got another year coming around the block, and let's see what we can get done in this year. And what excites me about the upcoming year is just knowing what we've learned over the last 2 or 3 years, kind of these last 2 or 3 years being the biggest experiment of our lives, I think. Like, would you agree with that?
100%.
It's like, and realizing that the experiments kind of, as soon as you commit to it, as soon as you choose that this is the life you want, there's just, so much growth on the other side of that. And you start to really develop yourself in a way that I think is the way God designed you. I personally feel that, like, there's just parts of me that were not fully being exposed to the world in the environment that I was working in before. And now it's like, okay, you can't sell yourself short. You truly, if you want to find success and stability and have people around you who are also capable and competent, like, you need to really like build into every area of your life.
Yeah, you had mentioned the word, this fresh start of 2025, or the fresh start of a new year, being a cliche. And cliches are cliches because they're true. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And so New Year's, big transformational periods, it really is an incredible way to just honestly reflect on the current culmination of decisions that you've made up until this exact point in your life. And I think you've heard us talk about this before, but there truly is no reason why you, the listener that is currently tuning to this podcast, why you can't choose today to make a list of the bad habits that you've been doing up until this point and consciously rip them out and replace them with the things that you ultimately want to be doing. Part of the reason why we talk about this is that the further Harry and I have gotten into this, there's no reason why we couldn't have started the show 3 years earlier. Noble could have been a thing 5+ years ago. There was nothing that we didn't know then, but we didn't know now. The only bottleneck was that we both had imposter syndrome and fear and doubt and insecurity around our ability to build something from scratch. But truly, when we first started building our new friendship, around 2020, 2019, there was really nothing, there wasn't that much more about nutrition that we knew in 2022 when we launched the show. Like, we had all the characteristics and all the attributes. It was just being young guys that were being a little bit overwhelmed by fear. And that's why we talk so much about this, because I know that if you're listening, I could pretty much guarantee you have some type of dream or some type of vision that God has put on your heart and into your soul that you, for whatever reason, these chains have held you back from doing it. And we just don't want you to leave 2025 without taking steps towards that vision. What a shame that would be, because if you're listening to this, you truly have all the potential in the world. God's made you, he's uniquely designed you to be greater than you can possibly imagine, and his dreams for you are truly so much bigger than your own. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot about just this year. You said bullish. I think this is the year of turning pro. So take whatever you're doing, look at it through an objective lens. Where are you? And I think I'm more so speaking to ourselves, like, where are we operating in a space where maybe it's a bit amateur? Like, where do we need to actually dial this thing in and turn pro and build in the areas so that everything that you touch, everything that you do is dialed in, like a pro athlete would be dialed in for a game.